A new trade war has erupted between the United States and Canada, and it's all about cars. In April 2025, the US government slapped a 25% tariff on all imported cars and light trucks. President Donald Trump made it clear he didn't want Canadian cars in the US. This move sent shockwaves through the tightly connected North American auto industry. The new rule, effective April 3rd, threatened to upend decades of cross-border cooperation. North American automaking is a complex web. Parts and vehicles cross the border multiple times before a car is finished. For years, this system thrived under free trade agreements. The US tariff was more than a tax. It was a direct attack on the industry's foundation. Automakers on both sides braced for higher costs and major disruptions. The Canadian auto industry, which exports 94% of its cars to the US, faced a devastating threat. That's $28 billion in trade at risk, and thousands of Canadian jobs on the line. The US then announced a second 25% tariff on key auto parts, including engines and transmissions, set for May 3rd. This double hit would make building cars in Canada even more expensive and disrupt supply chains. The message from the US was clear: the old way of doing business was over. Canada now faced a tough choice: respond or risk losing its auto industry. The entire sector held its breath, waiting for Canada's next move. The stakes were enormous. The future of North American auto manufacturing was suddenly in doubt. The tariffs weren't just about economics, they were about power and control. The industry's stability and the livelihoods of thousands hung in the balance. The calm of decades-old trade agreements was shattered overnight. The world watched as Canada prepared to respond. The trade war had begun, and no one knew how far it would go. The next move would define the future of cars in North America. Canada didn't hesitate to strike back. Newly elected Prime Minister Mark Carney announced a matching 25% tariff on all US cars entering Canada. This was a clear message. Canada would defend its auto industry at any cost. Carney's move was bold, aiming to force the US back to the negotiating table. The auto sector supports 125,000 Canadian jobs, too many to risk. Letting US tariffs go unanswered would have signaled weakness and invited further attacks. Carney, a seasoned economist, knew the stakes. Inaction could devastate Canadian manufacturing. The government accepted that a trade war would hurt consumers and suppliers, but saw no better option. The alternative, collapse of the Canadian auto industry, was unthinkable. Carney's gamble, make the US feel the pain and push for talks. The dispute was now a full-blown trade conflict, not just a one-sided attack. Most Canadians supported the move, seeing it as a stand for national sovereignty. Carney framed the fight as one for fairness and reciprocity in trade. The standoff was set: two nations, two tariffs, and the future of the industry in the balance. The world watched as the stakes rose higher. The next steps would determine whether jobs and factories survived. The pressure was on both governments to find a way out. The auto industry's fate now depended on political will. The battle lines were drawn. General Motors was caught in the crossfire. Its massive Oshawa, Ontario plant, a linchpin of North American production, suddenly faced crippling tariffs. Shipping cars to the US or importing US-built models to Canada now meant a 25% tax. The deeply integrated supply chain, parts flowing across borders, was thrown into chaos. The looming US tariff on auto parts would drive costs even higher. For GM, already operating on thin margins, this was unsustainable. Canada's small domestic market, just 1.8 million new vehicles sold in 2024, couldn't support large plants like Oshawa. Without US access, production lines would grind to a halt. The crisis hit fast. Stellantis shut down its Windsor minivan plant, affecting 4,300 workers. Though it reopened after 2 weeks, the disruption was a warning. GM now faced existential questions about its Canadian operations. The threat was no longer theoretical, it was immediate. Automakers scrambled to adapt, but the future looked grim. The industry's survival in Canada was suddenly in doubt. The trade war had become a full-blown crisis for manufacturers. The stakes had never been higher. For auto workers in Oshawa and Windsor, the trade war was personal. Generations had built their lives around these factories. Now, fear and uncertainty gripped entire communities. The threat of plant closures meant the loss of good wages, benefits, and stability. In Oshawa, workers arrived each day unsure if it would be their last. Windsor's Stellantis shutdown was a stark reminder of how quickly things could unravel. Local businesses felt the ripple effects as workers tightened their belts. The crisis extended far beyond factory gates, threatening the fabric of these cities. The fate of entire communities now hung on the outcome of the trade war. Canada's auto workers refused to back down. Unifor, their union, mobilized quickly, organizing rallies and marches to defend jobs. Leaders like Jeff Gray and Chris Waugh became the faces of resistance, vowing to fight for every job. Their message: these aren't Trump's jobs to take. The union warned GM no equipment would leave the plant without a fight. Direct action, like blockades or sit-ins, was on the table. The stakes were generational. Losing these plants could mean losing manufacturing forever. Unifor's campaign built solidarity and pressured politicians to act. The workers' battle cry: we won't accept defeat. The fight for Canada's auto industry was just beginning. The trade war's impact hit consumers hard. New car prices in the US and Canada soared. Tariffs added up to $5,000 to the sticker price. Many families were priced out of the new car market, turning to used vehicles instead. But used car prices were already high, and supply was tight, pushing costs even higher. Automakers faced a tough choice: absorb the tariffs or pass them on to buyers. Most raised prices, leading to fewer sales and potential layoffs. The cycle threatened to shrink the entire industry. Tariffs, meant to protect jobs, risked hurting everyone, workers and consumers alike. The dream of a new car was slipping out of reach for many. Trade policy was now hitting home in every showroom. The crisis didn't come out of nowhere. North America's auto industry has struggled for years with global overcapacity, too many cars, not enough buyers. Fierce competition and past mistakes led to plant closures and job losses. The 2008-09 financial crisis nearly destroyed GM and Chrysler, requiring massive bailouts and painful restructuring. Unions once fought hard, but in recent years, both Canadian and US unions made concessions to keep factories open. Workers accepted lower wages and fewer benefits to save jobs. The industry was already fragile before the tariffs. Now, a new trade war threatened to finish what past crises had started. Old wounds reopened, and new fears took hold. The future of auto manufacturing in North America was more uncertain than ever. The future of Canada's auto industry hangs in the balance. The US-Canada standoff has made long-term planning nearly impossible for automakers. If tariffs persist, companies may shift production out of Canada to avoid heavy export taxes. Plants like Oshawa could face closure, devastating thousands of workers and their communities. Unifor's vow to fight might slow the process, but economics could win out. The industry's fate now rests on high-level negotiations. There's hope. US automakers and officials warn the tariffs hurt everyone, hinting at possible compromise. A negotiated settlement is the best hope for saving Canadian auto jobs. For now, workers and companies are stuck in limbo. The best-case scenario: a quick diplomatic solution restoring free trade. The worst: a prolonged trade war dismantling Canada's auto sector. The next few months will be critical. The livelihoods of thousands depend on what happens next.